Welcome back to the CCA, Competitive Calisthenic Association podcast. That is CCA, Competitive Calisthenic Association podcast. I'm here once again. I'm Q France, and we're here with Professor Pull-Up himself, Mr. Adam Sandell. How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. How are you, Q?
I am great. As we backtracked, last time we had a nice discussion about some pull-ups and some nice tips and progressions and regressions for the pull-ups. That video is available on our YouTube page, so go check out Competitive Calisthenics Association on YouTube at CCA Calisthenics on YouTube, also on Facebook and on Instagram. So we broke down the pull-up. Now we're going to take it above the bar with the muscle-up. Very controversial muscle-up. It is, I got to tell you right off the bat, it's not one of my favorite exercises. It's something that I save for certain routines, and I only do a certain amount. But one thing real quick, shout out to our sponsor, Pushing Weight. Go to Pushing Weight for all of your sports and apparel needs. All right. So Adam, the muscle-up, you like it or no?
It is the one exercise other than pull-ups that I always look forward to. I love the muscle up.
I love, you know what I like? I love to see when somebody gets their first muscle up. It's like one of the greatest things to experience, to see the glee in their face when they accomplish a muscle up. It's like a gymnast first getting their backflip or something like that. Like that energy from realizing that you're that 5% of the world that can get above the bar is amazing feeling. So to see someone get that for the first time is always amazing to me.
It's so like a rite of passage almost.
Yes. Now, with that rite of passage, we have what considered a kipping muscle up, the ugly muscle up, and the clean muscle ups. Now, your definition, what is considered a good muscle up?
Well, there's a whole range of good, but I would say the perfect muscle up would be where the momentum is generated entirely from the back. And then obviously from the shoulders and chest when you convert to the push motion. But it would be a muscle up specifically where the legs are not used to propel yourself upward.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, like, I know if fans that are listening, you've seen where people swing into the muscle up. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a safe way to do it, but generating momentum to get the muscle up versus using strength is a completely different monster. Me personally, the first time I saw muscle up, it was from YouTube. I saw a YouTube video, I saw somebody do it. I immediately ran to the park and tried it. And I figured out that by all means necessary, my body was going to get over that bar. So it was ugly, the whole chicken wing, one arm at a time. My knees came all the way up to my neck to generate the momentum to get up over it. But when I got above the bar, I still felt like I accomplished something. It took a while for me to go to another park to actually do it at that park. And for an older gentleman to tell me, you're wasting energy. He goes, if you're really strong at this, you should be able to do it like this. And he showed me 5 of the cleanest muscle ups I ever seen in my life. And it changed me forever. I was like, okay, I'm not doing it again until I can do it like this guy. So what was your first experience like?
Wow. Well, my first experience was I was just doing a pull-ups workout. And my training partner, who he had done some muscle ups, and we had seen them, I think, first and foremost on CrossFit, maybe, just like a CrossFit muscle up. But I honestly can't recall what was the first I saw, but I remember the first time I tried, it was like the beginning of a pull-up workout, and a guy I was training with said, just take a shot at it, see what you've got. And by that time I was very good at pull-ups. So I think this is a lesson too in how technical the muscle up is, because I was very strong at pull-ups. I tried, of course, I missed it the first time, but then I got the feel. And like you're saying, it was a miss with lots of leg action with like the chicken wing arms. But then I got up a second time and probably missed that. The third, then I think the fourth or fifth, I got it. And then when you get it, you're like, okay, I kind of see how this is supposed to work. And I think as we'll get in later, the pulling motion can be a little different than you're used to with doing pull-ups. So that was my first experience.
Yeah, it's definitely a higher level of a pull up, but and it's like you said, when your pull up is strong, you get the confidence to know that you can pull this off. It's just a matter of getting technique, you know.
Exactly.
So
And
yeah,
people ask about the pull-ups. If I can do 10 pull-ups, can I do one muscle up? If I can do 8 pull-ups or 20 pull-ups, can I do a muscle up? And the answer I always give is technically, if you can do a pull-up to get the bar about here, you can do a muscle up. Like I guarantee it.
yes.
You just need the technique.
Right. Yeah. That's a great segue into techniques, because usually I get a lot of young people that come to me in the park. See, I seen you do a pull up. I saw you on YouTube. I saw you on Instagram. Whatever. I want to learn to do a muscle up. Immediately, I tell them, show me 20 pull ups. And mind you, that's a big number for somebody that's just starting out. But I just want to put it in their mind that I want you to get the strength first. So I always say 20. If they come back to me with 15, then the second part of the training starts. And it starts with that, learning to pull to your chest. And that's just a range of motion thing, because we have the range of motion to pull to here. Most people should have the range of motion to pull to here. So the goal is to attempt to pull to your chest. And once you get to your chest, it's just a matter of what I call look at your toes. When you pull to your chest, you look down at your toes, your hands should be transitioning at that point, and your chest should be over the bar, not behind the bar. So if the bar is here, your chest should be resting on top of it, and that'll give you that transition. So if someone that was to come up to you and ask you to teach them how to do a muscle up, what would be your steps to getting them to that level?
I would say 2 things. One, get comfortable over the bar by doing straight bar dips. And that would mean setting the bar maybe on the squat rack and put the bar about I don't know, eye level, maybe, yeah, about eye level, head level, actually. And just jump up, get up there, and get used to doing straight bar dips. Try to go down lower, get the range of motion. That would be the first thing. And the second thing would be to actually practice the muscle up motion itself, um, by doing what I call jump muscle ups. So that was
Okay.
really just repetitions of the first thing I said, where you practice actually hanging from the bar, but your feet are on the ground, and you get into a pull position, position your feet in that way, and jump into the muscle up and get the turnover down.
Yeah, see, that's key. So everybody watching, that has to be accomplished on a lower bar, depending on your height. So a bar to which you can grab and have some leeway. So you shouldn't be, if your feet are on the ground, chances are you don't want a bar that you have to reach up this high to get to, because that would make it harder for you to get up there, because you are jumping and you want to keep your hands on the bar at all times. So if you get to a lower bar that can reach your forehead, maybe even lower, you pretty much do a squat while holding onto the bar and jump up to get the motion of actually doing the muscle up. And like you said, practice the straight bar dip to build up the strength in your shoulders, in your chest, and get you used to the motion, plus the transition that happens in your wrist. That's another thing. I always look at people's wrists and how much flexion they have when they do their muscle ups, right? And from what I've seen, the people with the most beautiful muscle ups, people that you see do 1 minute muscle ups, like the slow 1 minute transitions, they always have an amazing amount of flexion in their wrist. I'm talking about how far down this goes. How close can your palm get to your forearms? As you can see, mine isn't that much. So when I do a muscle up, I have to rely more on that transition period. So let me see yours. Wait a second. Let me see yours. See,
Well,
yeah, I think yours is a little more than mine. So how much does that amount of flexion and your ability to be able to flex in this position help in how well you transition into muscle up?
oh, it's huge. I mean, the wrist and forearm strength. Um, the other thing I would say, in addition to flexion, is the simple hand placement on the bar,
Yes.
right? Like you were demonstrating, to really get those fingers around the bar, rather than gripping it from here, you get them over the
Right.
bar into that
Yeah.
false grip. But my flexion, I'm not good at the slow muscle up. It's something I would love to improve on. I have never in my life been able to really slow muscle up, but I can do 20 clean muscle ups in a minute, but I
Right.
can't do a single slow one. And I know I got it, that it would improve me, and I'm going to work on it, but it is tough. Like you say, that
Yeah.
flexion, the wrist strength, everything about it is tough.
Yeah. It's fun too. I've probably done the slow muscle up maybe twice, and it's been like moments when I just got to the park. I have full amount of energy and everything else, and I just get it right. But I've learned that another factor that people forget is, um, unlike the pull up where you're pulling here and you don't even consider pulling your elbows behind you until you get higher enough. With a muscle up, especially the slow muscle up, you're false gripped, so the bar is coming across instead of this way, the bar is coming this way. So you're gripping it here. So the back of your palm, the bar is sitting here. So you're pretty much holding it here instead of here, if everybody can see what I'm doing here, right? Once I learned to do that, as high as I can go, I start to turn my elbow down and push it behind me. And that gave me that extra inch or two that got me high enough to go over the bar. And I had to learn that by watching a friend of mine that was just banging out like 10 straight of the slow muscle ups. And I was like, oh, he keeps tucking his elbows in. And that gave him that extra lift. Even just doing it here, you can see that little extra lift that you can get just by bringing your elbows behind you. So I had to learn to do that. But like you said, depending on how much you weigh, it's difficult. And I was about 180 at the time, and it was wearing my shoulders out.
Yeah, I have no excuse. I'm 150 pounds and it's tough.
Hey, your weight is your weight, though. You
Yeah,
could be 120 pounds. It's still your 120 pounds, you know? So, because I've seen guys 200 pounds do slow muscle ups, and I still can't do one. I guarantee you I can't do one right now. But I know somebody that's 200 pounds that can do a slow muscle up. So, it's mastery of your body weight, which is the beauty of calisthenics. So we had the risks. We think about, now let's talk about the legs. So we know you can always generate the momentum, right? One thing I always do, especially just to get people to feel of the muscle up, is I tell them to take 2 steps back and then take 2 steps forward, grab the bar so you get that little forward swing, and then you pull on the way back, right? And now timing is a factor, because you'll see people still think they're going to do a pull up and they pull to here, and that's where they get stuck.
Yeah.
Right. So momentum can be generated just with the pull alone instead of just the swing. But what I always say is you hit the same point when you muscle up. Like you come at an angle and you hit that same spot. Say, point my toes, and I look at the same spot on the ground, and I hit that same spot, and it's like you wrap yourself around the bar. So you make like a nice big curve when you hit the bar. Do you have any pointers when it comes to your leg placement?
I love that image of wrapping yourself around the bar. And it's actually something I've been thinking about lately as I do muscle ups, that you want to keep the legs straight, keep the toes pointed and feet together, and those feet return to the exact same point on the ground,
Yep.
above the ground each time. And you're
Yeah.
in the same groove each
Yeah.
muscle up. And that's where the consistency comes in. That's when you can rattle off, 10, 15, 20 muscle ups in a row where the energy loss is minimal. And
Right.
and one thing I do think about, and I don't know if this is something you think about or not, but I try to think about pulling in a groove that is up and around the bar. So I'm actually pulling back and then coming over it to give
Yes.
myself space to throw the shoulders over the bar, rather than when I do pull-ups, where I'm actually trying to pull in the straightest line possible from beneath the bar, right? Like almost I want to trap myself beneath the bar for the pull-up, get my chin tilted up, and just hit the same point. If I were to pull, it would hit right here. But for the
Right.
muscle up, I give myself more space to
Yes.
come around the bar. It's almost a different pulling motion from like a max pull-ups motion.
It's true. That's very true. And that's why I say that that curve that you do, it is exactly like you said, you're making space. You'll see people do pull-ups where they're so far away from the bar that they're like pulling all the way here like this. You know, it's that same pull that's necessary for the muscle up. You're just pulling a little higher. Yeah, you're just pretty much getting out of the way of the bar.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I saw somebody do it like that, and I said that's like poetry in motion. They look like they're just moving out of the way of the bar. They're just wrapping themselves around the bar, and which is like if you see the people that do the most muscle ups, that's exactly how they move. You know, and I mean you could also push away from the bar, but that's all at the top position. You know, another tip I like to do is I mentioned it before was telling people to put their chest on the bar. So consider that same movement where you're wrapping yourself around the bar, but at the top position, the height of your pull, you should start transitioning to where your chest becomes either level or above and over the pull-up bar, right? And I tell them to look at their toes. So, because most people will get up here and then they let go, and you see them come back down. They come up and let go. So they're not gripping it at the top, and they're high enough, but they're too far away from the bar. So
Yeah.
what do you do with those people that are literally just pulling high as possible and then releasing? What are the tips that you give them? I tell them to put their chest on top of the bar.
Yeah, I try to think pull into a dip motion. Try to think like you're getting up there to do a dip.
So the straight bar dip.
To do a
Yeah,
dip.
so yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. You get here and then you press up.
Yeah, and
which is
and
perfect.
exactly, and what you said with pull to your toes, I think that's so crucial. I sometimes think try to pull the bar to my toes or to try to pull the bar to my waist, even not
Waist.
to my chest. Now, what that does is it lengthens the pull. I think a lot of people give up on the pull too fast. They don't
Right.
realize that they can keep pulling to get that height, and then the turnover is easier. So
Yeah.
keep the pull. Almost think like I am going to pull up myself over and into a dip position before you even do the dip.
Yeah.
That's what I try to think about.
That's key. I've remember it was a guy that used to work out in my park. I've never seen him do a muscle up, but every single one of his pull-ups were super wide and they were to here, like to his waist. And he was always doing reps like that. I've seen him do at least 12 to 15 reps like that. And then one day I said, "Do you do muscle ups?" He goes, "No, I don't usually do muscle ups." I'm like, "Why? You're way over the bar." Right? So he was like, "I mean, I guess I could do it." And as he's speaking to me, he did it. And I'm like, okay, people need to realize that concept. It's just a higher pull, you know, that, and again, this is the safest way to do the muscle up as opposed to doing the swing, the kipping and everything else, you know, that like CrossFit has everyone doing, which is cool, but they're not asking the people, are they strong in their shoulders to constantly doing this for time, you know? So you see a lot of those injuries, which is why another reason why I tell people get your pull-ups strong first, and then we work on that. So we're gonna go straight into some routines that we do, that we suggest for people that want to get their muscle ups either better or their first one. So I'll go with if you're trying to get your muscle ups for the first time. And again, like I said, try to aim towards getting 20 pull-ups minimum. I mean, when you're around 15, I've seen people that can do 10 pull-ups, do a muscle up. It's just a matter of building up the strength first. But two things that I always get them to do is, one is the eccentric, which means you get up on top of the bar, however you can, climb up there, jump up, however, you get to the top of the muscle up position, and then you slowly try for a minute. You come down as slow as possible. So you're coming from the very top and you're coming down to a dip position, transitioning as slow as possible. That transition from here to here is probably the hardest part of the entire routine, because you're learning to get that grip strength and maneuver your wrists the whole time through the movement. So usually that transition into the bottom section, which is the pole, is usually the hardest part. But that eccentric movement trains you to actually be stronger and safer and engage everything you need to make sure you can do it do the muscle up better and more effectively. So one is the eccentric from the top to the bottom. Try to do it within a minute. So at 30 seconds, you should be halfway, and then lower to the bottom. And again, that middle section, when you have to transition from the top to the bottom, is always the hardest part. So even just practicing being in this position and transitioning slowly is murder, trust me. And the other thing that I suggest is chest to bar pulls. Hannibal, if everybody knows Hannibal, the legend. I remember one time I went to a park, he was doing a photo shoot, and he was talking to a couple guys about routines that he uses to help his muscle ups get better. And he would do a chin, chest, waist pull up. So one to your chest, one to your chin, one to your chest, and then one really explosive pull up with as minimal momentum generated from your lower extremities as possible, and try to get it all the way to your waist. And you do that for reps. So chin, chest, waist, repeat, chin, chest, waist. That'll just help you with the explosion and also help you to maneuver through that movement, because you have to go chin, chest, waist. So once you get to chest, you start to learn that little curve. And chances are, if you continue to do this routine, you will find yourself over the bar, because you'll be pulling so hard that you find yourself way over the bar, and you just have to lean over, and then you'll be doing the muscle up. So that's why I start them. The pulls, eccentric, and then chin, chest, waist. What about yourself?
Well, I would say those are all great exercises. The one thing I'd say about the last part is the Hannibal workout is that's advanced. Like, you got to be pretty good to get the bar to your waist. I think a lot of people out there are saying, "Oh my God, like if that's what I need to do to get a muscle up," but obviously that's a pretty extreme kind of strength that, I think actually if you're really getting your bar to your waist on the pull, you probably have the strength to do many muscle ups. I mean, I know people actually who can do 5, even 10 muscle ups, but couldn't cleanly pull the bar all the way to their waist.
Yeah. It's actually just a like a lofty goal that I give.
Yeah, lofty goal. No, I think
go to your waist.
Everything.
Just to get them to not even think about it and attempt it.
Exactly, because it's the mindset above all that is going to get your pull to the height where it needs to be to do the muscle up. But for my routines, I have 2 different approaches. I always like to do a heavy day and a light day, and that would go for pull-ups too, but also for muscle ups. So if I do muscle ups twice a week, the one workout will be the heavy day. So I'll start with like a 5x5 with weight. I like to do weighted muscle ups, and that adds an extra trick to it. And again, of course, that's for advanced muscle ups, but like, I don't know, 25 pounds added, do 5x5, rest a couple minutes, or even more than a couple minutes, where the goal is really to get the height, the explosiveness, the power. And then I'll do something like, 4 sets of 10, maybe, again, off of a minute or 2 minutes. That will be a heavier day.
And that's all muscle ups. All muscle ups.
Yeah, that's all muscle ups. But then on a lighter day where I'm just doing it for reps, I like to do ladders, like, or pyramids rather, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay.
Back down. So that's 50. That's 50 right there. And you're resting either 1 minute or every minute on the minute. So maybe more like 50 seconds rest. And that's tough because that gets the volume up and it trains you for the competition, like the last man standing format. Like if you want to compete, that's a really good routine.
And that's a great segue, because here at CCA, we're all about the competitions. We're bringing competitions back. Part of the reason why we're giving you this information, because we want you all to all come out, have this information, so you could be a better athlete at our competitions. So I hope you heed this information from us, and please leave any comments, any tips that you may have, and any suggestions. We're open to all of it, and we're here to help you guys in any way, because here at CCA, we're bringing standardization and legitimacy back to calisthenics. You have anything else you want to add?
I think that's a wrap. I think we've covered it. We'll hear feedback from the crowd out there, and we can always add more. But I think
Yes,
it was
indeed.
great talking. Great talking to you.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll be posting on some other tips that we have. These routines that we talked about, we'll have them up on the page. So please look out. Go to Instagram, go to CCA Calisthenics. And once again, I'm Q France. That is Adam Sandell.
Professor
John McLeod is
Pull-Ups.
behind the scenes. Again, pushing weight. Go to pushingweight.com for all your apparel and fitness needs. And we are signing off from CCA Studios, AKA my bedroom. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.